Moving over to Aston Villa, John Duran joined Al Nassr in a deal worth more than £64 million. I think we're all pretty surprised that he's the one who went and not Ollie Watkins, considering the age and goal scoring ability that he's shown. But does this maybe just resolve a lot of their PSR issues at Aston Villa?
Yeah, it really helps. I mean, it was a big deal for them getting Duran out. Also, obviously, with the profit made on him, it was just too good to turn down. There were obviously question marks about his temperament as well with Emery. We discussed that before, and so it seemed pretty clear this was the no-brainer to try and take this sort of profit on a player like that and give them some real leeway in PSR.
And Aston Villa, though, did agree loan deals for Marcus Rashford and Marco Asensio. We already spoken a little bit about their kind of wage percentage rollover, and this obviously are some huge wages to increase their bill. Where does this put them in terms of potential trouble ahead on that side of things?
Well, if you look at it, I mean, Rashford, I think Villa have agreed 75% of his wages, which only comes to about, well, I say only, but it comes to about £5 million for the rest of the season. Asensio will be a little bit less than that. I wish I was getting 5 million for the rest of the season, but still, what it means is it's not a big dent in the overall amount. Now, there's an option to buy Rashford for 40 million, and if you think about it, if he does well and kicks back in and does a great half a season, if Villa bought him for 40, you could resell him for 80 to 100 easily, and he would be wanted again down in Saudi. But of course, if he kicks in and does well, they'll keep him for next season, and maybe then look to sell him in a year or two. It all depends. The Rashford gamble on is his head right and can he make this happen? He hasn't had game time. They've got to get him match fit, but still he could be very valuable in Europe if his head is right and he gets it together. Then, as I say, this could be a very very smart deal. And I think Monchi has once again been the master of the transfer window. I think he's done really well. And I think that Villa really did need that headroom from the Duran deal. And now they've got it. And I think the Rashford loan was, I didn't see that one coming, but that was very smart business, provided he kicks in and does it. But the risk isn't too big. It's a £5 million risk. And, in these days of football, that's not a lot for a player like Rashford if he can come good.
And where does this put Aston Villa for maybe the coming summer transfer window and their ability to spend? Do they need Champions League football again in order to kind of continue to spend the way that they've been spending, or they've now kind of set up in a good way with that Duran sale?
It's looking well. It's given them room certainly. If they're going to kick on, they're going to have to go further in the Champions League this year and make their money there. I think it's going to be doubtful if they're going to make Champions League in the Premier League qualification this year. It looks more like Europa League is a possibility. So I think they've got to really kick on within the Champions League this year. That's where they got the chance to make some decent money and add to the Duran leeway they've got. Of course, other disposals may still come, but we'll wait and see. But don't forget, if they do exercise those options in the summer, that's going to take up quite a bit of the PSR ground as well. So it's going to be a balancing act. But so far, as I say, Monchi, the sporting director, has done a masterclass in trading so far. So I'm sure he's got thoughts and plans about the summer.